Texas is known for being one of the best states for roller coasters. They have an amazing coaster collection. I had the fortunate opportunity this past June to ride almost every major coaster in the state of Texas, from the northern part of Texas all the way to the Gulf Coast. I got to ride a bunch of new coasters, and I will say, this state has one of the most impressive coaster lineups I have seen. Literally, their top 5 is all world-class coasters. This state has so many world-class coasters, it is not even funny. It is on the levels of the state of Florida, Ohio, and California. That's how good it is. So, a lot of people obviously will have different rankings. Obviously, these types of lists are our opinions and our opinions only, and everyone's list is going to be different. So in today's video, I'm going to be ranking my top 15 favorite roller coasters I got the chance to ride in the state of Texas as of June of 2022. Obviously, in the near future, we'll be going to see many new coasters that could break the list. Specifically, there's a rumored Rattler coaster coming to Six Flags over Texas for the 2024 season. So obviously that won't be in this video. We're over a year away from that if it does happen. But besides that, we are seeing many new coasters come to the state. This state is ever growing. We're even seeing a brand new Universal Park being built not too far away from Six Flags over Texas. And obviously Coda Land's coming along. But at this time, this is my top 15 favorite coasters from the state of Texas. Remember, these are my opinions and my opinions only. More than likely, you will disagree with my opinion, so just keep that to yourselves and just remember that. So please enjoy the video as I count down my top 15 favorite coasters from the Lone Star State. But coming at the number 15 spot, we have the world's only shuttle wooden coaster, which is Switchback from ZDTs. This is a very fun gravity group wooden coaster. I honestly was a little disappointed by it, but it still impressed me. I think overall, if the ride was smoother, I think it would be really good. This ride at this point is almost how rough Mindblower was before the retracking by RMC, which apparently that isn't really the best retracking, but it was better. It's pretty rough. It has a few good moments of airtime, and I really enjoyed the backwards part. That 90-degree spike in the front row is really cool because you really feel the angle. It is really cool. The backwards section is a lot of fun. The ride features some really fun airtime moments. I think if overall if the ride was smoother, I think it would rank it a lot higher, but still coming at the number 15 spot is really good, and Switchback is a very fun coaster. Coming at the number 14 spot, we have not just one, not just two, but three of the same exact coasters. This is the Batman the Ride clones in Texas. There are three of them. SeaWorld San Antonio has one, Six Flags Fiesta Texas, and Six Flags Over Texas has one as well. These are all the same exact rides, even though one of them is only called Batman the Ride. They're the same layouts, they feature the same exact style pacing. Let me just say one thing, these coasters are incredible. The inversions are great, the pacing is amazing, and it is intense. It is what I look for in a B&M invert, and it's very fun. I think the Over Texas one has a bit of a rattle compared to the other ones, but the other ones run really smooth. It's a fun ride, and I definitely recommend it at every park. You gotta do it every time you're at one of these parks. They are so good. But coming at the number 13 spot, it's a classic looping coaster, but also one of the most intense loopers in the world. This is Shockwave, also at Six Flags Over Texas. This is a classic Schwarzkopf looping coaster, and it has the crazy double vertical loops. Especially if you're in that back car, these things pull almost 6 Gs. Like, you gray out on this. This coaster impressed me, not just with the positive G-forces on those two incredible loops, but also the moments of random ejector airtime all throughout the layout. The profiling on these hills are not correct, I swear. These are like Magnum's hills, but just more abrupt, I feel like, just out of nowhere. You just don't expect it, especially with the way it runs through the layout. You wouldn't expect it to give ejector airtime like it does. It's an incredible coaster, and you have to check it out. I hope they keep the way that it's running and not do like what Mindbender over Georgia is, but it's incredible, and I hope they keep this coaster around for years to come. Coming in at the number 12 spot is a really fun Premier Rides coaster. This is Poltergeist at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. This is one of the many Premier Rides Spaghetti Bowl coasters in the country. It is one of 4, the other 2 being at Cedar Fair Parks, the other one being at Six Flags America. This one, in my opinion, is my favorite. I've done one of the Fighter Fear clones, but this one's so cool because it's outdoors and you get to see all the crazy near misses as well as just all the amazing transitions. This thing is so smooth while being so intense, so compact, and having fast-paced turns. I specifically love the middle of the ride and going into the end where you're just going one direction and then you turn to another direction and then you turn back the other direction. The low to the ground transitions are awesome, and that final corkscrew is so whippy. It is such a fun ride and such an intense ride. It is so smooth. I love what the park has done recently with it, with the theming. The queue line theming is just incredible, and overall, this is an incredible coaster. Coming at the number 11 spot is our first of two boardwalk coasters on this list. This is Iron Shark at Galveston's Historic Pleasure Pier. This is a Gerstauer Eurofighter coin, the original one of the three currently operating. This is a very fun coaster. Of course, with a classic Gerstauer, you got that awesome vertical lift with that amazing ejector filled beyond vertical drop. It has a few fun inversions. It's a very short ride, but what it does have is very fun. The four inversions the coaster feature are all very fun. The hang time is actually really good, and just overall, it's a very fast-paced ride. The little S-bend hill in the mid-ride right before the cutback inversion is actually gives ejector airtime somehow. I don't know how, but overall it's a very fun Gerstauer coaster and it's definitely a must return if I'm in the area. But coming to the number 10 spot is the tallest coaster in the state of Texas. This is Titan, a Giovanola hypercoaster, only one of two in the world. This one being actually a pretty fun ride. It doesn't really do a whole lot, but what it does have is actually a pretty fun first drop in the back row for the only first part of the drop. The rest of it's just a big dud. The big first turnaround actually has some pretty nice laterals. The speed hill is a nice floater moment, and then both of the helixes are incredibly intense. But I think the big buzz kill is that mid-course brake run. It slows you to a stop. But besides that, I think it's an absolutely fun roller coaster. My little cousins kept dragging me on this thing. I think I did this at least like 10 times. I did this more than any other coaster at the park. They love it. I had a blast on it, and yeah, it's a fun ride. Just not the greatest coaster in the world, but for what it is, it's very fun and very intense. But coming at the number 9 spot is actually a very fun roller coaster. It's actually Six Flags Fiesta Texas' newest roller coaster. This is Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger, a B&M dive coaster. In fact, the world's steepest dive coaster. This is an incredibly fun roller coaster. The airtime is really good despite the vest restraints, and the inversions are really fun. It starts off like any other dive coaster with a beyond vertical drop, an implement, and a 0G roll. The beyond vertical drop, yes, you do feel the extra 5 degrees in the back row, and it is amazing. This coaster overall is actually amazing, and it actually surprised me. Like, this dive coaster surprised me, and I was impressed by this. It's actually currently my second favorite B&M dive coaster, right behind Sheikah at Busch Gardens Tampa Bay. Must do. It's a must do whenever you're at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. It is incredible. But coming at the number 8 spot is my favorite B&M in the state of Texas, Superman Krypton coaster. This is also my favorite B&M Forless coaster. This is an incredible roller coaster featuring 6 incredible roller coaster inversions, including a ginormous vertical loop. Not that I just mentioned, this coaster also uses that quarry wall to its advantage. It's the first coaster on the list to feature a quarry wall this coaster uses. It jumps off and on the quarry wall twice, especially that first drop. The first drop feels steeper than any other Forless coaster I've done, and it's just incredible. That massive vertical loop is really cool. It's really cool because if you ever noticed, Superman is on top of the loop. I think it's really cool. And then a turn over the quarry wall is pretty fun. The 0G roll is snappy like any 0G roll. And of course, the Cobra roll. It's your Cobra roll. But honestly, the interlocking corkscrews on this coaster are really intense. I don't know why these interlocking corkscrews are really intense. They feel just like Kumba's interlocking corkscrews. Overall, it's a very awesome coaster. It is super smooth, and it's definitely an amazing coaster. It's definitely the reason why it's my favorite B&M Forless coaster. But coming at the number 7 spot is a very unique roller coaster. This is Mr. Freeze at Six Flags Over Texas. This is a really fun premiere ride shuttle launch coaster. This used to be Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast, but in 2022 they changed it to launching forwards. You can still experience the other version at Six Flags St. Louis. But even within launching forwards, it is still an incredible coaster. This coaster hits you with positive G's all over the place. The launch is awesome. The inverted top hat going forwards and backwards is awesome, and a spike, despite you may not be facing the ground anymore, you got that awesome hanging sensation even on the front with that launch upwards at 90 degrees. It's just awesome, and I absolutely love Mr. Freeze. Definitely one of the best coasters that I've ridden. But coming at the number 6 spot is a roller coaster that actually shocked me. This is Steel Eel from SeaWorld San Antonio. This is a Morgan mini hyper coaster that is stupid aggressive with its airtime. If you ever wanted to experience what a Morgan roller coaster would feel like if it was Magnum XL but Morgan, this is the coaster. Some of the transitions on this coaster just don't feel right. Like, it's just crazy. The airtime is so good in the first part of the ride. Even the second part of the ride gives great airtime. Now, I don't know if it's because this year the mid-course brake run is not hitting as hard as it usually is, because I've heard in the past that the second part is really boring, but every hill in the second part of the ride delivered great airtime. Specifically the second hill on the return run, if you're in the back car, you gotta watch how it lands. Like, you slam into the sea. But overall, Steel Eel is a fantastic roller coaster and honestly shocked me. I think it's one of the most underrated roller coasters that is out there. It is crazy. But starting off at our number 5 spot, barely beating Steel Eel, is Texas Stingray, also at SeaWorld San Antonio. This is the newest coaster at the park. It's a GCI wooden roller coaster, and let me tell you one thing, this Woody is super good actually. It gives so many great moments of airtime. That first drop is a really nice floater moment in the back car, and you actually get multiple moments of ejector in some of those turnarounds. I really enjoyed this roller coaster, and this coaster was filled with amazing laterals, amazing air times, and it's super smooth as well. It is super re-rideable. I was able to do this coaster like 10 times in 1 hour. That's how re-rideable this coaster was. It's just so enjoyable. There's air time all over the ride, and it could be floater. There's some of them moments are floater, and then there's other good ejector moments, and it's just an incredible coaster. I barely like it more than Steel Eel, but I personally like it a little better, and it's just an awesome coaster, and it definitely deserves a spot in my top 25. But coming at the number 4 spot is our first of many RMCs to be on this list. This is Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. Now, some people may disagree with me for me saying this is my least favorite RMC in the state. I have a few reasons why. I only ever got one ride on this coaster, and here's the reason why. It's not like I didn't like this coaster. I absolutely love this coaster. I think it's absolutely amazing. It's just they were running one train, and the ride decided to break down the other 2 days I was here. Like, it didn't open after the first day I rode it. And it's also running one train. I think my other reasons is because of the shoulder straps. They're not as comfortable as Jersey Devils, and it has a few rough patches, but besides the point, this coaster gives insane ejector airtime. Like, it is so violent, this coaster. It's actually crazy. The pacing is unreal. It is so snappy. Like, I didn't even know what the heck was happening for the full ride. It is just so crazy. The S airtime after the dive loop is one of the strongest moments of airtime I've ever experienced. The pop coming off of the S bend twist is also really good, and the inversions are a lot of fun. It's an incredible coaster, and you have to check it out. I'm very excited to get back to it, and especially knowing the enhancements that ride's getting, I think it's going to really skyrocket on my list after I re-ride it. But coming at the number 3 spot is the original RMC coaster, New Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas. RMC had to get a start somewhere, and this is where they started. And I'm going to tell you one thing. They started with a bang. They created an absolutely incredible roller coaster filled with ejector airtime, amazing transitions, and a smooth experience. RMC started transforming wooden roller coasters into steel hybrids with this one. I have to say, for their first attempt, they did an amazing job. Now, in my opinion, this is unfortunately the weakest hybrid roller coaster that I've personally done, but that does not make it a bad ride. Like I said, it's absolutely incredible. The first part of the ride is what makes it. It has so many airtime moments. There's airtime where you don't expect, but then when you hit the second part of the ride, it definitely dies off to where it definitely does more meandering than giving airtime. The final bunny hills on the ride do give some really nice pops of ejector though. Besides that, it is absolutely an incredible coaster, and it's definitely a top 25 worthy coaster for me. But coming at the number 2 spot is actually a roller coaster that really surprised me. I was not expecting this ride to be this good. This is Boardwalk Bullet from Kima Boardwalk. This is a Gravity Group roller coaster that opened in 2007 with a very interesting background history. But besides that, this coaster is so good. This park really takes care of this coaster. It is running so smooth. They run smoother than 90% of wooden roller coasters in the world. Their ejector airtime is so aggressive. It is so compact. This coaster only fits in 1 acre of space, and it's a long ride. This ride isn't short. This is a very long ride for how tight of a space it is. It's very aggressive. There's ejector airtime everywhere, laterals everywhere. The stupid turnaround midway through the ride that's really tall, coming off of it feels like the drop all over again, which, by the way, that drop in the back row is incredible. It's so good. This ride overall is so good. With the amount of crossovers this ride has and the amount of near misses and head choppers this ride has, it's just awesome. Literally, you go under the station and it's so cool. It's one of the coolest rides out there. It is so surprising. It is so smooth. The ejector airtime is crazy. You gotta try this ride in the back, because that's where this ride truly shines. And finally, coming at the number 1 spot is the only Iron Rattler from Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. By far, hands down, the best coaster in the state. And in my opinion, one of the best RMCs out there. This is currently my 3rd favorite RMC coaster, right behind Vengeance and Gwazi. Incredible roller coaster. Starting off with that amazing first drop. That first drop, in my opinion, is the best first drop on an RMC coaster. That double twist. If you watch my review on this coaster, you know how much I love a double twist. You get a lateral ejector, and then you go right under a hand chopper tunnel. So good. The quarry wall parts are really fun, especially to dive off the quarry wall. That is hands down one of the best moments of airtime I've ever experienced in my life. And just going through the quarry wall is awesome. The pacing is really good on this coaster as well, especially if you catch it in the afternoon, and it just delivers in every way. It is a coaster that I love and I would ride, and I want to go back like right now just to ride it. Definitely a must do when you go to Fiesta, Texas. You have to do it every time you go. It's like the main reason to go to Texas besides all these other amazing coasters on this list. This was the main reason why I went to Texas, and it did not disappoint. And there it is. This is my top 15 list currently as of June of 2023. Obviously, this is gonna change because Texas is growing and their amusement park industry is growing. There's so many coasters being built, and obviously the list will change at some point. But I am pretty confident that this is my list. So tell me in the comment section down below, what do you think of my list? What are your favorite coasters? Is Iron Rattler your favorite RMC? How do you think I placed Wonder Woman? Do you think Wonder Woman should be higher? Or how do you think I placed Boardwalk Bullet? I feel like a lot of people will not place Boardwalk Bullet at the number 2 spot like how I did. So leave all those thoughts in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I would really appreciate if you guys would help me out. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye everyone.